And this is something we're going to have to wrestle with, Hollie, is the idea that, obviously the federal government's social media ban, which I've had misgivings about, but that doesn't kick in. At 16 you can get on the thing anyway, and that doesn't stop kids from actually using devices. But what we may need to talk about here is that having a device for a child, whether they're on social media or not, could be far more damaging than we ever thought possible.
Well, I actually felt the great irony was that I was actually reading the article about this while scrolling through my phone. So, we're learning these things and we all do it and we're all on it all the time. I can tell you, though, if you want to come and work at the pub, you have a lot less time on your hands to read your phone. So I'm finding a lot less screen times happening in my household at the moment. But, it is very important, I think, when we address dementia, that we start to look at what are the genetic factors around it. How do we actually understand how it works? We are seeing it as the biggest killer in Australia. My mother had dementia as early onset in her 60s, and it went on for a very long time, and it was awful. My father was diagnosed, and I honestly think he willed himself to death because he didn't want to go through it and was gone within 3 months. It is an awful thing. I don't have cancer in my family, but I have a lot of dementia and Alzheimer's, and I'm sure there's some people out there going to go, yep, I can see that clearly now. But
they wouldn't say that, Hollie.
All those lovely fans of mine.
I told you that last week.
I know, Darren. But no, I mean, it is our biggest killer, and I think that there's so much research that goes into cancer. There's so much research that goes into other areas that do affect everyday Australians, where there's a lot of cure and a lot of prevention that's been made, and we're not necessarily seeing that work being in dementia. I mean, the only upside of dementia is the person that has it, once they get over that original fear and know that it's happening to them, they tend to be in quite a very happy place. It's actually the families around them and the impact it has on families that's significant. And any more work on dementia, I'm very, very happy to see.
100%. When you look at this sort of information, Darren, the word of a serious expert saying, look, I think this is where we're going. As a parent, that must concern you greatly.
It does. And look, I've been in touch with my daughter's school this week about limiting, collectively, teachers plus parents, we have to monitor my daughter's screen time over the summer because it's gotten out of control. And when you look at the little peaks and troughs, she gets it late at night and turns her phone on when everyone's gone to bed, and there'll be a bit of TikTok and a bit of this and that. We're pretty excited about the social media ban. I was quite apprehensive too, but I do think it provides some structure and sort of almost leadership at a societal level. You can say, well, the government's doing it, other families are doing it, we all need to give it a try. And my daughter's pretty resistant, as you'd expect. Now, there's also problems with, perfectionism, like this perfect world that's put to you by social media. Everybody looks perfect, everybody behaves perfect, they have a perfect life. Let's go on holiday here, let's have a beach house there. Life's not like that.
No.
And it's given an artificial reality to a lot of young people. So whether or not dementia's part of it, it worries me that false reality that is sold and the pressure that then puts back on young people in their own mind to conform to those ideals. So I don't think we know what the long-term effects are. But I agree with Kel that perhaps if the printing press made us smarter, I'm not sure the internet's had that same effect. They promised it would, but I don't.
Well, and see, the thing about the internet is it's made it so much easier to get hold of so much more information, but that hasn't necessarily made us smarter. In many ways, I think the openness of the internet has made us more insular, which hasn't been a good thing. But you'd like to think now that this is going to be, if you're seeing numbers like 400% spikes in young people with dementia, I mean, they've got to be throwing everything at us.
It's scary. These numbers are so concerning. And to your point, when you have got the internet, it means you don't have to think. So even when you're trying to remember a fact, or even the other day you had a song playing on during the late debate and I couldn't remember the show and I Googled it and I thought, no, I should have remembered that myself. It was just Married with Children. But we should know that. But instead of actually using our brain, we're quickly going and Googling. And it's now, dementia is now officially the leading cause of death in this nation. And what was also really concerning in that article was about the IQ level is on a 10-year national decline. And there is a correlation between ADHD diagnosis in children and screen use. So I'm with you, Kel, in terms of limiting screen time. In our house, though, they still get TV, but it's now the iPad is only used on a Friday afternoon after school just to ensure that they don't get addicted. But I got to say, when I read this article, the first thing I did was Googled, what can I do to avoid brain decline? So my family, we're going to all learn a language. So there you go.
Can I throw in a quick fact, which a lot of people may not know? The education system is making it worse. The education system is putting kids on screens in schools. Yep. You don't learn from screens. It doesn't happen. They use a program called Reading Eggs.
Oh, yes,
now, you can go right through Reading Eggs and it doesn't do 1% of what learning to read books does. Yep. So, but the education system thinks we'll get them on screens, it's good for them. It's bad for them, and they need to wake up.
Yep, and of course, Jamie's kids are tuned to Sky News every day.